Hey everyone, hope you all doing well. My name is PJ and today we've got a brand new track to play with in F1 2021. So we are here at the Algarve International Circuit in Portugal, home of the Portuguese Grand Prix of course. You guys will all know it as Portimão, which is a beautiful location in real life and a beautiful location here in the game too. But as it's a new track for most of us, you may not necessarily know your way around the track. So I figured why not take you for a quick track walk around here, show you some of the corners that I've been trying to get better at around here, give you a couple of tips and tricks, and then you can use them in your next race. So we start here at turn 1, which is a high speed 6th gear turn because it's actually quite fast. It looks quite tight there on the apex, but you throw the car in there. You just absolutely throw it in there at high speed, and your objective here should be to brake at the 100 meter board. Right here, brake at the 100 meter board. You're only going to brake just a little bit. You're going to put maybe like 25% brake pressure down. You bring it down just to slow the car down to 6th gear. And then once you hit the 50, you turn in, and you need to be brave here with the steering. You need to be very brave. You need to pick your line. You need to commit to it and then just throw the car through there and get the best possible speed on the exit. The first thing you need to worry about is that big yellow curb on the inside. There are around 5 or 6 of those around the entire circuit, which you need to be careful of, because if you have the car fully loaded like you have right now and you're throwing the car in, if you hit that curb, you're going to knock one of the rear wheels off the ground, and it's going to cause the other one to spin too much, and then you're just going to spin the car out and there's no saving it. So avoid the yellow curbs. You can use the red and white curbs around here because they're fairly flat around most of the circuit, but avoid the big yellow ones where you can. So you bring it in here, 6th gear. If you're running a low downforce setup, which I wouldn't recommend, I'd recommend a medium to high, but if you're running a low, the rear end is probably going to get loose through here, so you might actually have to upshift to 7th gear. But more importantly, you need to get as good an exit as possible, so you need to maintain your speed, bring it out to here. If you place the wheel right here, you should be fine for track limits. But if you go a little bit too far to the left, don't worry. Okay, it's deleted your lap in time trial, but if you're in a race, you can get away with that maybe 3 or 4 times before you get a penalty. So, quick drink before turn 2. So here we go, into turn 2. Turn 2 is a flat out corner. Don't worry about it at all. Avoid the curb. You're in 7th gear, hold 7th gear all the way through here. You don't need to shift up to 8th. Once you get to around here, which is the white paint there on the left hand side beyond the curb, bring it down. You're going to be bringing it down to 2nd gear. Brake hard, brake in a straight line. Once you get towards the end of the red and white curbs here, once you get to the last red curb, turn in. Turn in, keep your steering consistent throughout. As you can see right here, this curb is fairly flat, so you just go over here, and as soon as you hit that curb, upshift to 3rd gear so that you can get a little bit of freedom in putting down more power on the exit. This is especially important if you're driving without traction control, because this is a very difficult circuit to drive without traction control because of all the elevation changes. The ups and the downs will play about with the weight of the car quite a bit, and you need to be very careful of how much power you put down through the turns. As you come up here, this is a perfect example. You'll be short shifting up to 5th gear. So you put power down in 3rd, you put a little bit more down, you put the car into 4th, you put a little bit more power down, you put it into 5th, and then by the time you pass this apex, you should be nearly full throttle. So you can just put it down. There's another generous runoff area here on the exit if you need it. Time trial, you can't use it of course, but in a Grand Prix, sometimes you can get away with it. Opens up into the DRS zone, so this brings you your first big passing opportunity on the track. As we break down here for turn 5, your braking point is going to be the 100 meter board. You're going to be all the way over here on the right hand side. Bring it down in a straight line. Pull the brake bias back a little bit, so lower the percentage just a little bit, because if you have it too far forward when you're in a downhill braking zone, you lock the front tires and you'll miss the turn, which is not good. So brake in a straight line, bring it down to the 50, keep braking, keep in a straight line, and then once you get to around here, you should start turning in, and you will be turning in 2nd gear. So you bring it down into 2nd gear, very tight, very consistent. Avoid the yellow curb on the inside. You may not even hit the red and white curb here, depending on how your car is set up, because it might unsettle the car a little bit, because you're in this little bowl at the moment where you've just come off a downhill section and you're just about to go into an uphill section. So the car isn't entirely flat on the ground, and all 4 tires may not be properly settled down. So what you want to do here is you're in second, hold your steering steady like this for the exit, short shift it up to third, track the car out, put more throttle down. By the time you get to here, short shift up to fourth, and then you go flat out for the next turn. This one here, easy flat, stay left, ride the curb if you need to, bring it all the way over here. And then this is similar to turn 1. This is a very fast corner. This one, you can take it in 7th gear. You're almost not braking at all through this one. You're taking it almost without braking. So what you want to do is you're in 7th gear, very slight hit of the brakes. We're only talking like about 10% here. And the main reason for that is just so that you can not understeer on the exit so much, because you just need to scrub the speed down a little bit. Not a lot, just a little bit. Avoid the big curb on the inside, just use the little ones right here. 7th gear, you can potentially take it without braking at all if you have a higher downforce setup. I would be very curious to see if the esports pros can take it flat. They may be able to once they get their setup dialed in and they've done 50, 100 laps around here and they've optimized it. You track out here, and once you get out here towards this curb on the left hand side, you need to brake immediately for turn 8. So this, you bring it down to 3rd gear. 3rd gear as you go back up the hill again. Back up the hill again, 3rd gear, keep it consistent. Use the curb on the inside if you need it, but you can get away without it too. You only want to put like a little bit of the wheel over it, not a whole lot. Once you get to here, immediately upshift it to 4th gear so that you can put more power down, and you need to track out all the way to the left hand side here. So you track out all the way here, and you need to be very careful as you go over this crest, because once again the car is going to be light and the rear end is not going to be planted on the ground. So you will need to be careful with your throttle input here, probably short shift it up to 5th by the time you get here, and that'll let you go full throttle here, because if you get it wrong you will spin the car a little bit, and you'll need to be careful of that. It'll take a while to get it right, but once you get the hang of it and you feel what the weight of the car is doing, you should be fine. You should be fine. And then you're flat out through this turn. You're flat out through this all the way, probably in 7th gear, because you won't have enough time to get up to 8th. You can use that curb. And then you want to get as far to the left as possible for the next double apex turn. So your braking point here, you see that Visit Portugal sign there on the left hand side. And look at the white strip of paint that comes across. Where that meets the road there, that's your braking point. So you are braking here, and you're not aiming for the apex that you can see on the screen. You're aiming for the apex after it, because it's important to get a fast exit out of that second turn so that you can go down another roller coaster section to bring you up to the next big braking zone. So you want to bring it down to about 4th gear, I think, 3rd gear. 3rd gear, you bring it down all the way through here, enter in wide, and you want to be as straight as possible as you get through the exit. That's why you're sacrificing the first apex for the second one, because if you're on the inside as you come up to this second turn here, you're going to have to slow down a lot to make the turn, because you go slower when you take a slower line when on the inside. So you're tracking in wide, and you're essentially clipping the corner while trying to make the corner as straight as possible, if that makes sense. So you get through here, avoid the yellow curb, use the white one, short shift it up to 4th. Again, similar to the last downhill section, this crest here, you need to be very careful with the throttle on it. You may need to short shift it up to 5th, but you might be able to get away with 4th. But once you get past the crest, you're full throttle once again. You don't need to go all the way over to the right hand side for this. You just need to carry as much speed as possible through this next turn. This is another flat out turn here on the left hand side, so what you want to do is you want to bring it in like so, flat out all the way up here. You can use this curb up here too. I'm going to slow down once again, and our braking point once more. You see that white strip of paint that's coming across to meet the road? That is going to be your braking point once again. So you brake in a straight line. You're uphill, so you can brake a little bit later than you think. You're uphill, so the gravity is actually putting the car into the ground and helping it to slow down. And you are going to bring it down into third gear. So you bring it down to third gear, turn it in. Can't see the apex yet. Now you can see the apex where the yellow is. You want to avoid the yellow. You want to hold it around here. So you just clip the red and white curbs and you should be okay. And then you immediately short shift it up to fourth gear. Up to fourth gear. And you don't want to go all the way to the right here because you're immediately lining up for turn 14. So you want to bring it all the way over here. Very, very slight braking. You're in fourth gear still. You just hold it. You just hold it. You be patient. And you just keep your eyes focused beyond the apex and look towards the exit. You're in fourth gear here. Once you pass the apex, short shift it up to fifth. Feed in the throttle. Feed in more throttle. More and more and more. Don't run wide because you'll get a penalty. Keep it on the straight. And then you come down to the final turn, which is absolutely flat out. So you just hold on, get ready to overtake down the straight. And that is a lap of Portimão. And like I said, you can drive it right now. So go check your game, go update it if you haven't done so already. And hit this up in time trial. And share your best times in the comments down below. I'd be curious to see what you do. The pole position time here in real life was a 1:18.3, I believe. It was Lewis Hamilton's pole position time in 2021. So that would be a good benchmark to start. I imagine the F1 Esports pros will hit that right away and then they'll see how much they can push after that. But that has been a track guide of Portimão. I've been PJ. Thanks for watching and we'll see you again soon. Farewell.